And welcome to the Boardroom International Surfboard Show here in Del Mar, California, and it's brought to you by Surfer Magazine, Soul Spot, and Surfers Village. David Stanfield, along with we got Todd Klein over there. We got Baldy, and we got the man responsible, Scott Bass. Scott, successful day yesterday, Richter scale. It was really a lot of fun, and they're back, and the show's filling up. What do we expect here today?
Well, Dave, we've got a lot going on. You're right. Yesterday was incredible. We had about 2,500 people walk the show floor and look at all the surfboards and the new gear, and we're excited. Today, you're going to see the state of the surfboard industry panel discussion. That's coming up in about a minute and a half or so. And Mark Richards is going to join us later on in the webcast booth. We're going to chat with Mark Richards. We're going to see some of his old boards and just kind of get to know Mark a little bit better. And then best of show, we're going to bring some of the best of show boards in and show you guys some of the nice eye candy.
Nice, and plenty of interviews. Mark Richards will probably be coming up at about 1:15, that's Pacific Standard Time, so if you're in Europe, stay up, you want to watch it. Mark Richards' in-depth interview of the man himself. Now, representing or honoring Mark Richards is our Icons of Foam, presented by US Blanks, and first off, we saw an amazing young shaper out of the Canary Islands, and then obviously some legends as well. Who did we have? And we still have somebody in the room right now. Ricky Carroll's coming up a little bit later. But you picked 6 great shapers, and it's been very entertaining.
Yeah, you're right. Yesterday, Taz Yassin, a young guy, 15 years old, from the Canary Islands, he was first up. And the other 5 shapers, John Pizell, John Florence's shaper, legendary Hawaiian Reno Abalera, Pat Rawson, a guy who's just another legend, at the risk of using the term too many times. But and then today you mentioned Ricky Carroll, and Wayne Rich is in there right now grinding away. All 6 of those guys vying for $1,000 in the Icons of Foam Shaping Tribute. And perhaps more importantly, their chance to have their name inscribed on the Mike Marshall Perpetual Trophy. So we're excited about the competition, and we're excited about the state of the surfboard industry panel discussion that's coming up.
It's coming up in about 5 seconds. Here we go. Let's go to Chris Morrow right now, and this is the State of the Surfboard Industry Roundtable discussion, moderated by Chris Morrow. Chris, take it away.
Thank you, Dave, and we are really glad to be here. I want to thank Scott Bass, first of all, for putting on this show. It's a remarkable experience for everybody here, a celebration of surf culture, surf craftsmen, and we are lucky enough to be joined by quite a few of them here today, including, I'm going to introduce everybody. This is Timmy Patterson right here, San Clemente surf legend, comes from a long line of surfboard makers. Maurice Cole. Maurice, by way of, let's see, Europe, Australia, where else have you lived, Maurice?
I can't remember, I'm over 50.
All right. Let's see, Pat Rawson, who's been 40 years on the North Shore of Oahu, and of course had a nice working relationship with Mark Richards, who we're honoring here at the show for quite some time. John Pizell. Pizell as a world title contender, riding his boards right now in the name of John Florence. Let's see, Sean Madison. Sean Madison, originally from Florida, now a surfboard shaper, a lot of retail experience, and also quite the little gadget maker with surfboard fins. Kelly Slater could tell you some about that. That big alley-oop he did in New York last year. Sean will claim that one there. Mark Kelly with Global Surf Industries, one of the most heavily distributed board companies in the world. Daniel Thompson, one of the new young innovators on the rise, shaper from Australia, now living in Southern California. And let's see, Matt Calvani of Bing, been around, a long time shaper who's been schooled by some legends himself. And this guy next to me claims to have won a world title in 1976. That debate is still open. And he shaped a couple boards, that's right. So gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank every one of you guys for being here. This is great, and it's a great opportunity. Look, there's more than 100 years of surfboard making experience at this table, and obviously the landscape, as you could see when you walk around this hall, has shifted dramatically, even in the last 10 years. And I just want to know, starting from you, Timmy, I'm going to go around the table quickly, what excites you about being a surfboard maker today, as opposed to maybe when you got started?
Well, you just don't lose it from when you start. You get more excited. Like for me right now, it's almost more exciting. Like a guy like Daniel here, just doing anything new, anything different, anything that kids would love, to yourself. You know, anything you could gravitate that you personally can get into.
Are you enjoying work as much as you always have?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes, but probably more. I get to work with Pat Rawson right now. He's shaping in one of my rooms, and we have a pretty mellow vibe, and to relax onto that level again works pretty good,
And Maurice, how about you?
Yeah, well, for me, it's probably been the last 8 or 9 years.
Step on up here so people can hear you, because you got to get to that
The
microphone.
last 8 or 9 years for me is because I've been really involved in a lot of tow surfing with Ross Clark-Jones, and it's been one of the most creative and innovative times that I've gone through in trying to get boards to go at, I think Ross has been clocked at about 87 kilometres an hour doing turns. So it's sort of working out how to make a board that will go at 50 mile an hour, where you can do turns and how fins work, edges. We're riding boards 1.5 inches thick and bringing that technology, like a Formula One technology, back to surfboards. So for me, it's one of the more creative periods in my life right now.
And you're kind of seeing it if you look at just even the finals in France the other day, or the final day in France, and you look at those towing guys. They're almost like NASA astronauts, right? They're taking things to the extreme limits, and because Kelly and Parko were both riding forefins in the hollow waves of France, which I noticed, and they were, that's something that's sort of been handed down from the towing guys.
Well, yeah, it certainly has, and it's a funny thing about the forefins, because they go really good in hollow surf, but I spent quite a lot of time surfing with Parko. I was in France this week, and he just said the problem is he can't turn them. So I've been working on trying to get a board that'll go really fast, not just the fins, but being able to work on actually a 3-fin setup that'll go faster than a 4-fin setup. So Kelly and I have always had this thing about what goes faster, a 4-fin or a 3-fin. And I said, it's the actual surfboard that goes fast.
Yeah. Good answer.
So Pat, I mean, you've seen as much change as anybody. You've lived through a lot of it. Tell us your thoughts on where we are today, and are you still motivated showing up to work every day?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all about the passion. I mean, I started in '66. I had some great teachers, and I was really young. Been watching this kid Taz, guys like Tomo. They're the new blood. Well, I was the new blood back then. I just love it. And I have other things I can do, so I don't have to depend on the money so much. But I'd say just the passion in this room is just unbelievable. Just at this table, I mean, it's like we're all into this shit. This isn't some game. And then there's the technology that kind of intrigues me. Working with Timmy's been fun. I work with Lost. They do my stuff, but their factory's so packed right now that I'm over there, and we're just soulful over there, making a few boards and just really enjoying it.
That's cool. John, having one of your team riders all of a sudden in the mix of a world title race, thrusting you into some pressure all of a sudden? I mean, how's your world changed in a way from having some guy in the mix?
Mostly just giving me a lot of exposure as far as my name and the shaping world, but as far as the pressure from it, I don't really feel it that much. I think it's just something that's kind of happened, and it doesn't feel weird. I'm not stressing about the boards or anything. It's having someone doing well on your boards makes you feel good about your boards, and you feel confident, and it gives him confidence too that he's doing well. It's pretty easy. If someone's struggling, then you're kind of worried about the boards. I mean, I've had times where there's been ups and downs, obviously.
Right.
And but when someone's kind of consistently doing well on boards that you've worked with them with, it's more comfortable, and you just kind of enjoy it as much as you can without stressing too much. So I'm just trying to enjoy it, and it's super fun to watch, and it's pretty. I just feel really lucky, stoked to be a part of that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
cool to see.
And Sean, you had an interesting experience last year when Kelly Slater, you kind of were mucking around with the little nubster fin before the New York event. You sent Kelly, your old friend, an email even though you hadn't talked to him in a while. You want to tell us the story about that? Because it's a fairly
it's one of those
interesting
stories, and I think that there was a lot of really cool things that came out of it, absolutely. But I think one of the key foundations of all this is, and all these people that are here at this table, is we want to turn on other people to something that we found that works and we really like and have passion for. And my experience was I woke up in the middle of the night after watching all the events over and over and watching Kelly go from 3-fin to 4-fin and 3-fin to 4-fin. And it was like one of those moments where like, you got to get him one of those fins. And I'm kind of thinking, dude, I'm crazy. Like, so the next morning I sit at the table like, dude, am I really going to send an email to Kelly? Because I knew what it did, but I was like, you know, it was a middle of the night thing, so I'm sending him an email, do you want to try it? And that would have been enough just for him to try it. And he said he would love to try it. And I think that's one of the things that impressed me so much about Kelly is he's so into design and so into trying things that his range of experimentation is outside of a small box. And that I really commend him to, and I think that he's a very methodical surfer, that he breaks down the design based on the wave curvature or the style of the wave, you know, and for him just to even say yes was cool. And you know, the way it played out is, I said, where do you want me to send it, you know? And you know, the swell was starting to come towards New York, and he said, get it to me now, I'll pay for the shipping or whatever. And I happened to just to have some friends there that already had them that lived right down the street. So the day that he tried it was the day he had a lay day because of Bobby Martinez telling off the ASP and getting disqualified. So he had a chance to try it, and then he sent me an email like, this thing was insane, I'm gonna slay people, and you know, and I was just looking at the email going, what? So the next morning, you know, turning on the webcast, all they talked about was this, you know, guitar pick fin, and so the rest is history. And you know, I've sold really thousands of fins. Thank you, Kelly. And you know, and you know, for me, and really all of these people, I have my own surfboard company only because I'm a surfboard junkie, and I love to tinker, and it's an exciting time.
I'm going to ask you guys to use the microphone just so we can get good, clean audio on this.